Hey, this is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and believe it or not, whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it, because you have to listen to Wrestling is Real. It is the best thing going today. Woo!
The worldwide leader of podcasting excellence. The king of podcasts radio network proudly presents.
That's right.
The Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
And welcome to the Wrestling is Real podcast. This is King of Podcasts here with you. Welcome you to Summerslam weekend this Saturday, Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. It'll be great. It might not be the Silverdome, but trust me, it's going to be pretty awesome. They'll have a really nice crowd out there, a loud stadium, and a lot of good matches coming up this weekend. 8 matches coming up this weekend? And I recorded this. I actually did 30 minutes recording, but I forgot that I had moved my laptop because I went out today, and I forgot to plug my microphone back in. So I just talked into a blank microphone for 30 minutes. So I'm really prepped for this damn show now. I should have paid attention to it earlier, but that's okay. I mostly know what I said, so I'll just go ahead and pick back up where I left off. Okay. First of all, Vince McMahon, there were a report that came out because the shareholders shared their second quarter figures and all their information. They're filing with the SEC, and they had their conference call and all that, right? So their information included some of the legal information about what happened with the money that was being spent by Vince McMahon, which was to the tune of $17 million, that he paid back the company, a reasonable amount of what was needed to be paid for, that the company paid for, that he took out of his own account and paid back for all the allegations of the past year. And that there was apparently on July 17th, a subpoena by a federal grand jury that greenlit a search warrant for Mr. McMahon. And so far, no charges have been filed. And this is also the fact that while Vince McMahon is now still recovering from spinal surgery, nothing has happened. It's a non-story, but there are quite a few people out there that are going to go ahead and talk about Vince McMahon and thinking, oh, well, here comes the stirring of the shit right now that something's going to happen to him again. No, sorry, that's not going to happen. I know there might be some of my fellow podcast wrestling brethren that think this is going to happen, but no, I don't think so. I think everybody's all caught up in hoping that something would happen here, but, you're not going to get your wish. Okay? It's just not going to happen. It's the ongoing, let's just shit and tar and feather Vince McMahon on a regular basis because people just feel the need to do it. And I don't want to be one of those people that needs to be involved in this. I could give 2 fucks about it. I really could. I couldn't. It doesn't matter to me. But everyone wants to get caught up in this. And of course, during SummerSlam weekend, some news outlets can't help themselves but get caught up in this, okay? Sure. Because everybody's talking about it. Because there's a lot of negative coverage right now. Like if you look on Google right now, Vince McMahon has been subpoenaed by U.S. law enforcement agents. But again, no charges filed. Nothing happened. That's it. Federal agents, grand jury subpoena. Ooh, serious. No. He hasn't been arrested. Nothing's happened to him. Everybody's just going to get caught up in the same thing over again. And by the way, if you read the stories out there, I guarantee you, they're just going to keep rehashing the shit from last year. Do you understand that? They're going to just continue to talk about last year because that's all they have better to do. That's all that matters. Business is going to move along as is. It doesn't matter. So ESPN took a story from the Associated Press. And at least they start with the current news, right? Search warrant executed. Federal grand jury subpoena to Vince McMahon, and it was according to a regulatory filing. That's how we knew about it. And then McMahon is taking medical leave following major spinal surgery 2 weeks ago. And Nick Khan announced it on Wednesday. And the duration was not specified. Got it. And that government investigations have remained ongoing. No charges have been brought in them. And look, it still comes down to the fact that Vince McMahon is still going to be around for the Endeavor deal when it finally closes at the end of the year. They're going to probably get the broadcast deal taken care of and cinched all up. Everything's going to just continue to move along as is, and nobody's going to give a shit any worse about Vince McMahon if you think you're going to get him taken down. He's not. He's not going away. So just leave it alone. That's it. And so ESPN, I look at the story. Okay, they give you the part that's just like not much going on, but of course they have to go into the salaciousness, the palace intrigue. Let's just get back to what we talked about last year, July 2022, because they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves but talk about it anyway. That's what they're going to do. It's their modus operandi. Another story you can talk about as well, if you want to talk about it. Okay, Vince McMahon and, making controversial decisions. And they're talking about, well, we already knew about last pay-per-view anyway, last PLE, that Bud Light was a big sponsor of Money in the Bank. So, big deal, big whoop. So this is a story from TheStreet.com taking the WWE has made a clear choice in the Bud Light woke scandal. And they're only saying this because of the fact that, that they used the Bud Light bought ad time from them. And that Kid Rock is going to most likely appear at SummerSlam because it's in Detroit. No, what? Okay, what? And the story they get from the street is like, okay, what's the news in it? Like, it's just a hit piece. Okay. You could do that. That's fine. But it doesn't make much else that you can talk about anyway. And so we got all that going on. And it's like, all right. I'm done with Vince. I'm not talking about this. We'll talk about SummerSlam, which has a lot of good matches all throughout. All right. We got a battle royal that's filled with a bunch of names that are just getting on the card just to be on the card. But there might be some people that are in here that you would hope there would be something coming from them, but there really isn't. And when you look at the SummerSlam card coming up this weekend, by the way, I will be doing a post show on Saturday. kingofpodcasts.com. Let me just do a couple of quick things of housekeeping before we move along. So kingofpodcasts.com, I'm going to be going back to using that as the home to the podcast, and all my podcasts are all going to be hosted on that website. I'm going to be letting the other websites go. So wrestlingisreal.com, that's going away. I'm going to let it lapse and expire. Our broadcasterspodcast.com site, I'm also going to let that expire. And ddradio.live, which is for the Premium and the Debauchery, so I can let that expire too. So for those three podcasts, they're all not going to have their own site. And the same thing's going to go for a fourth podcast. So I'm going to give this shout out to all of my fellow podcast wrestling brethren. If you ever wanted to have a chance to talk to me, and we could talk wrestling podcast, right? I want any wrestling podcast out there to hear this because I'm going to give you an invitation. And this goes to all podcasters out there in general. Because to celebrate now my 19th year in podcasting, I decided to start a new show. It's called Podcasters Row. And Podcasters Row will be a series that, I'll take interviews that are roughly 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most, maybe 30 minutes, depends on who I have on. And I'm going to talk to different podcasters about their podcast. I'm going to find out what they do to make their podcast possible, what they talk about, what are the ongoing subjects and topics that are a point of mind to them, who they talk to about it, and what is their drive, what's their passion for what they're into, and why did they decide to do a podcast in the first place about it. So I want to get that, what was the finity and then fill it. I want to learn about that. And so Podcasters Row, I'm going to start putting episodes up as soon as I get them started recording, but I'm already scheduling episodes right now. And I'll already have recordings of interviews to record as soon as next week. And once I get them, I'll start posting them. However many I get at a time, I'll go ahead and start hosting the program, and we'll put it out there. It's pretty simple. And like I said, I'll also have it where I'm doing the shows on Zoom calls. And I'll be prepared to do them on video. So if you're interested in having an appearance on my podcast, Podcasters Row, you're welcome to come on. Go to the website, kingofpodcasts.com, and go look for Contact KOP at the very top on the menu. Fill out the form, and then I'll give you a scheduler so you can go and schedule time to go and record it. I'll ask for information so I can know what they're going to talk to you about, and a little bit of prep and research for myself. Get a chance to listen to the show as well if I haven't heard it already. And then, we talk. We talk shop. And it's wrestling even better because we could just talk, for a while and go through whatever's going on at that moment in wrestling, and we could do that. Get your thoughts on all the major organizations and the feds, and I'll get your take on it. It'll be a fun chat. And if you want to repurpose it yourself, so like if you want to go and play back the audio on your own program, or if you want to also take the video portion, which I'm not going to care to use, I don't think I'm going to promote or publish it. I don't know, maybe. What I'll do is I'll make it so that you can go ahead and use it yourself if you want to put it on and record yourself or whatever, and you can use the video for yourself. As long as you use King of Podcasts and you promote that for me. So I'd love for you to go and take upon my invitation. If you're interested, let's go and do the show together. It'd be fun. Podcaster show, look for it soon. kingofpodcasts.com. I'll start having new episodes up. And it's going to be for me to cross promote. Instead of me going to, buy traffic or anything like that, I'm hoping that other podcasters will see what I'm doing to show the love to others, bring the community together, promote each other. Little kumbaya. I hope that works out. And I hope I get to hear from some of you wrestling podcasters or any of you that do your own podcast that are listening to this program. I'd love to hear from you so we can go and talk. That'd be really cool. So we're going to talk about SummerSlam. We're not going to go too long tonight because I got to do a post show about this on Saturday. And I already did 30 minutes and, I probably don't mind the fact that I'm redoing this because I did ramble a little bit. And it's nice to get all the information fresh in my mind again. Like I did go through and look what SmackDown and Raw did in their go-home shows more or less leading up to. And when you look at what's not on the card itself that's pertinent to the rest of the main card of SummerSlam, the throw-in of the Battle Royal and LA Knight, now dealing with Hit Row because Hit Row's this failed basically gimmick that's just not going anywhere. And so they're just giving LA Knight somebody to work with. Same thing with Matt Riddle working with Imperium, but then again, Matt Riddle loses to Ludwig Kaiser, right? Or the same thing with Karrion Kross working with OCC. Or the OC anyway. And it's like, where are we going with it? Karrion Kross, is he going to be this Battle Royal? I don't know, but they could put him in, I guess. I mean, he did beat Carl Anderson, so there's that. You can't beat AJ Styles, but he could beat Carl Anderson in singles action. LA Knight's in the Battle Royal now as a confirmed participant. Sheamus is also in it. They had a little head-to-head on SmackDown to set that up. Like, will Sheamus and LA Knight get to start off something really good here? That'd be kind of nice. Like, the whole point is, if you want LA Knight to get over, he's got to have a feud. He's got to have a program. He has had no program since Bray Wyatt at all. I mean, sure, be involved in the U.S. title tournament. Okay. In the three-way matches, the fatal four-ways or whatever. Okay. But he's really not gotten anything pertinent that gives any validity to why the crowd wants him to be so over. Like, it's nice. Hey, people want to go and cheer for him. Great. But there's nothing to this gimmick that is Eli Drake from years ago that makes any difference to me at all. I'm just telling you that way if that's the way I look at it. Tommaso Ciampa has been out for injury. Him and Shinsuke Nakamura are going after each other. All right, whatever. Chad Gable getting a chance to go after Gunther. They did a 5-minute challenge. He wins by count out, but there's no pinfall, no submission. And then once they restart the match, Gunther makes quick work of Chad Gable, and that's it. So to think that Chad Gable is going to be anything important where people think, oh, well, this is the guy that's going to be Gunther for the IC title. No. But, people can have their hope. For some of these mid-carders that are out there with Tommaso Ciampa and LA Knight and Chad Gable and Karrion Kross and, but it's false hope. That's just the way I look at it. I've been around watching this product long enough that I know that it feels like that's what it's going to be. The Battle Royal will be interesting, at least. I mean, the one thing that I will still say for this last year is that the mid-card was built well. And we got to a point where, okay, at least when I see matches and I see certain people, I don't feel like I'm just bored by seeing them. No, not really. That's okay. I'm not necessarily impressed by Grayson Waller and being involved with Jey Uso. But, I mean, you know, they're trying to give Grayson Waller something to do. Trying to make something happen. He's indicative of what the NXT brand is right now. Like, I saw that Great American Bash. I mean, really wasn't much to me about that. You know, Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes, and looking at that match, and I'm like, it's two small guys. And Carmelo Hayes, like, okay, he gets the win. And nobody lost any belts, right? Like, there was no title changes. Tiffany Stratton was able to go take care of Thea Hale. Done. Okay. As I said, if you had to, like, tell me who I think goes up to the main roster eventually from NXT, I think Tiffany Stratton will go up before Braun Breaker does. Before Schism, before Gallus, before a lot of other people, okay? They're putting a lot of time and effort into Carmelo Hayes, so yeah, he's eventually going to go on up. What's going to make him stand out at all? Especially when you have him out there as a face, when he was more, at least to me, a little more interesting as a heel, but that's just me. Like, I'm going to say it like this, and you might not like me saying this, but Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, you know, to me, that's just Alex Kane and Beaumont Fight Club done at a lower scale. That's what I feel it is. I mean, sorry. If you want me to give me a gimmick that's similar to, kind of more similar, Alex Kane, the MLW World Heavyweight Champion, is doing the gimmick better than what Carmelo Hayes is doing. Okay? The ego-driven, you know, player, top athlete, top combative, whatever. No, don't make a difference to me. That's just the way I look at it. So there's nothing that really stands out to me. Like, okay, Battle Royal, you have some interesting mid-carders that are not going anywhere. They're not necessarily going up. They're not getting any pushes. They're not going to go down anywhere. They're just in that middle mid-card. They're just, it's a sea of mediocrity with a couple of names that are a little bit more interesting. Sheamus, you know, he's had his time to be a little bit pushed at his, you know, a couple of chances against Gunther, Brawling Brutes. He's there, you know, being as a mentor for Ridge and Butch. You know, that's great. But then we go ahead and move along. And if you look at the rest of the card, a lot of matches being built out really strong. Ronda and Shayna, well built out match, story by itself, an MMA rules match. Now, I don't know if that's what that's going to mean, if they're just going to go and just have to be pinfall, or if it's going to be submission only. And we don't know if there's going to be anything else in the ring. Like, if it's not a fight pit, I don't know why they don't do that. But, yeah, MMA style match, I'm all in for it. And I think there's no belt on the line. I think Shayna gets the win over Ronda Rousey. I'm going to just go preview and predict right now. I think Shayna beats Ronda. I really do. Gunther will beat Drew McIntyre and retain the IC title. I believe that. I mean, Drew's going to put out a good challenge. It'll be a good, nice, stiff fight. I'll love that. They've built up Ricochet now in 1 month to be here with Logan Paul. And I don't know if it's just Logan Paul wants to go and work with him or not, but that's what they decided to do. And look, Ricochet being built up here is nice. I don't know if this is going to be anything that leads to something more for Ricochet. Going after the U.S. title or something like that. But that's not going to happen as long as he's over on Raw. But Logan Paul doing Ricochet, this is an interesting match. Of course it'll be good. And I'll take Ricochet for the win over Logan Paul. Asuka, Charlotte, Bianca, they set up the little tag team match against the women's tag team champions, and everybody's all caught up on that. They like Sonya and Chelsea. That's great. And to me, I'm guessing Charlotte Flair wins again. She'll be women's champion. She'll get to that 16th time if it hasn't already done already. So yeah, give it to Charlotte. That's probably who's going to win this. And then Bianca and Charlotte can go after each other for that belt after the fact. That's what I think happens. Because I think Asuka here with the Mist, that's going to like just be, I don't know, it's like backfire or something like that, I think. I think Charlotte wins the women's title on Saturday. Seth freaking Rollins and Finn Balor. I will take Seth to win. And I think that Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to have some issue because Damian Priest is going to bring out that briefcase and something's going to happen there. But then at some point, when do you think Damian Priest can cash in? That's what I don't know. And that's a hard storyline to think about and where they could actually go. Like, I mean, I do agree with that. That's a tough choice to make. Where do you go with that? Where do you think it can go? I mean, it would be nice to see Finn win the title and overcome, because they can go and tell that story. And then Finn and Damian are at odds because Damian's still holding that briefcase. But now, by doing that, then everybody has a trinket. You have all of Judgment Day with belts, except for Damian, who is holding a briefcase that can lead to a belt. They hold a whole lot of treasure. And you could do that now. And you can make Judgment Day completely intact. And actually, I do like that idea. Because then what else is Judgment Day going to do without? I think I want to see that. I want to see Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins. Finn wins the belt. And then Finn and Damian are now at full odds because there's this whole backstabbing, betrayal kind of shady shit that could be going on with Damian at any time. And that's going to put a lot of flustering into the Judgment Day. I love that idea. I think it's a great idea. So I'm all in for that if they decide to go that route. Cody and Brock. I mean, to me, I think Cody has to win and move forward. And they can set that up to be as such and give him quite a bit of the match to just be a breakdown. Now, if you have Brock win, then Brock needs to win because Cody gets injured. But I want Cody to win on this, and I think they could do that. I think they can set that up. The storyline for the Bloodline and the Tribal Combat match, I love it. Recognition of Tribal Chief and the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Like, that match just says it all. That's wonderful. We don't know if Jimmy's going to be coming back anytime soon, so, you know, Jay's on his own doing this. And Roman's going to have Paul and Sol Sikoa at ringside, so odds are stacked. I did see some of Roman and Paul Heyman on First Take. That was pretty good. And Roman's going to win. Roman's going to win. No doubt about it. I just see it that way. That's where I think they're going to go. Fine. I don't think there's anything else you could do with it. So that's where I think Cody's going to win. I say Finn Balor becomes new World Heavyweight Champion. Charlotte becomes new Women's Champion. Roman Reigns will retain the Undisputed Universal Championship. Ricochet over Logan Paul. Gunther retains the IC title over Drew McIntyre. Shayna will beat Ronda. And, yeah, they'll probably let LA Knight win the Battle Royal. But there's nothing tangible that happens by winning that Battle Royal. That's the other thing I don't get. But they could do something with that. That would be kind of nice, but they're not. Nothing yet. So SummerSlam is going to be successful. It's a sellout. It's going to do great. And apparently Survivor Series coming up of the Big Four is also going to do well because they have a SmackDown set up for the night before. And then they're going to do Survivor Series on Saturday the 25th of November, which is my birthday. And they're basically getting both nights at Allstate Arena in Chicago sold out. 12,000 plus. They're done. They're going to sell out those shows. So they're just moving along very nicely. Everything's set up really well. People are coming to watch the shows. And it's exciting, man. They're doing really well. WWE is right now hitting on all cylinders. Steady storytelling. Strong storytelling across the board. And when you just look at what the matches look like, okay? The amount of time they put into all these feuds, right? Gunther and Drew, well, Drew just came back, so they set that up over a month. Logan and Ricochet set over a month, but they gave it time to build. There's been a lot of time between Bianca and Charlotte to kind of bicker at each other, and Asuka and Bianca to bicker at each other and have matches with each other, where Bianca did not get the upper hand and was unable to beat Asuka to go ahead and get the women's title. Shayna and Ronda have gotten quite a bit of time, but they necessarily didn't have to do a whole lot. Like they did a great package for Shayna and Ronda to set that up. Let me tell you that. Like going back to their history and explaining that, very well done and repeated. Very well done. Excellent work on that. Cody and Brock, the same thing. Cody, another strong promo. Brock coming out, getting what chance. Also a strong promo for that. But they've been getting a lot of work as with each other a lot. Seth and Finn, a lot of time on Raw, setting up for that. It's been excellent. Roman and Jey, a lot of time on SmackDown for setting up that match. Like everything is just steady, strong storytelling. A lot of time being put into it and a lot of focus. And you care about the characters. You care about the stories. Like in some of these matches, all right, you get an emotional component to it. Shayna and Ronda, friends. And now they're bitter enemies. And like there's this animosity with each other going back years. Cody, he's always like the emotional baby face. And so him and Brock, you get that set up. Finn Balor adding this extra tinge of feeling insanity for living 70 years without being able to be that Universal Champion, and now getting a chance to go ahead and claim vengeance on Seth Rollins. And Roman and Jey Tribal Combat just speaks for itself. It's wonderful what they've done for that so far. Like, I enjoy it a lot. So a couple of things when it comes to AEW. Let me put this point across. MJF and Adam Cole, they've set up for Wembley Stadium and All In. Is anybody else like me feeling like, well, MJF has got so friendly with Adam Cole, but Adam Cole blindly signed the contract without reading the steps? Like, we're going to learn what those stipulations are before All In Wembley Stadium, but I'm telling you, Adam Cole got screwed, and Roderick Strong knows it too. And also interesting, the Kingdom's brought him to the mix to kind of filter in right now with Roderick Strong. I love it. MJF playing the babyface all the way through and still saying, I'm still a scumbag. And like he's just playing along, but the devil is getting his due. And I'm telling you, MJF playing this up right now, I'm in anticipation. How did he screw over Adam Cole? That's going to happen. We know that. I'm looking forward to it. Show me what he did. We have to wait till next week, most likely. And so far, there are going to be matches that are going to be set up to see what goes up for what they're going to be doing for All In. And so far, we already know we have one match for sure that's already been scheduled, and that's MJF and Adam Cole. They have set up for roughly 90,000 people that are going to be at Wembley Stadium coming up on Sunday the 27th. That's going to be an incredible weekend. That last weekend of August. That's going to be really crazy. And by the way, at 1 o'clock start. So for you football fans, you're going to get your first taste of doing a little post game. So you know what? Go find out Buffalo Wild Wings where you're at, or wherever you're going to watch the pay-per-view. I'm going to get myself a little taste of football action because I'm going to go ahead and watch wrestling on a Sunday afternoon. I'll most likely go over to B-Dubs to watch it there and catch it, which will be nice. And apparently the Elite have signed new contracts with AEW. So at the moment, AEW's President Tony Khan has already been signing stars to contracts. So they're already getting deals where the Elite are going to be staying around. They've all signed new deals with AEW according to Sports Illustrated. Each have multi-year deals with the company. Omega and the Bucks will remain executive vice presidents. I'm sure this is going to make a lot of people happy overall. All right, I'm going to keep it at 30 minutes. Like I said, I did 30 minutes before, and basically I got everything what I wanted to say on this program, and I'm going to keep it short because we're going to go ahead and do this again on Saturday. We'll do a post show after SummerSlam. It's going to be great. I'm sure it'll be a great pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it, and so we'll leave it there, and we'll go ahead and wait for that to come up soon enough, and we'll be ready for it. And until then, I hope you enjoy SummerSlam this weekend. Catch it like I will. And by all means, come back for another Wrestling Is Real podcast because wrestling needs us. And don't forget to go ahead and find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Trends, TikTok at King of Podcasts. All of my content, kingofpodcasts.com. And if you want to be on Podcasters Row, my new podcast series, reach out to me, hit the contact link on the website, kingofpodcasts.com.